This week, Muncie residents have been affected by recent railroad closures. See how it is still affecting them and when it will open.
Hurricane Fiona has hit the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, leaving many without power and water. We are tracking where it's headed and how people have been affected.
Cool air has been the main topic for the week. I also have those below average temperatures. I have all that coming up in my full forecast.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather. I'm Tegan O'Mara.
And I'm Olivia Slonaker.
This past week, local traffic has been impacted by railroad crossing closures.
Multiple crossings across town have been blocked off for construction, causing problems for the community. Newsleak Indiana's Madeline Kerb met with local officials to learn more.
The Muncie Fire Department has been out in the community using their hoses for something other than fighting fires. They're cooling asphalt.
It takes 10 to 12 hours for the blacktop to cool. So what we've done is come in here and tried to expedite this a little bit by cooling it with our water so that we can get it opened a lot faster.
Railroad construction began earlier this week, but because the lines are privatized, emergency services and the city of Muncie received little notice.
This is a major inconvenience for public safety.
The railroad company working in Muncie right now is the only one in North America to use longer pieces of tracks, which is why several railroad crossings across the city are closed for this week.
We had some general information. We knew that they would need to do some repairs this fall, but as far as specifics, which roads, what dates, how long they'd be closed, we really didn't have the specific information that our first responders need or that we can pass on to our citizens.
Community members have also been impacted by the closures and have taken to social media to express their frustrations.
So I work in Anderson, but I live over towards downtown Muncie, and so the way that I get to work is directly over the railroad tracks that are conveniently closed.
For now, and for the future, communication is key.
It seems like there have just been a lot of missed communications along the way.
They are done with construction for the week, but will begin again on Monday. The funeral procession Monday for fallen Richmond officer Sierra Burton will follow US 40 to Indianapolis. The Richmond Police Department says it will be held at 11 a.m. at Richmond High School. The procession will go from the high school on local streets to the Richmond Police Department. There they will perform Burton's final call.
The Muncie YMCA is set to move after the sale of their building was finalized this month. Alex Almanza explains when the YMCA will begin to operate on a new location and what will be taking its place at the old building.
The Muncie Redevelopment Commission has purchased the downtown YMCA building for $500,000. This is plans called to consolidate the downtown and northwest facilities into one location at Muncie Central High School. In a press release, President and CEO of the Muncie Y says he hopes the new facility will help spur economic momentum within the community, including the potential to increase neighboring property values. Mayor Dan Ridenour said the purchase was, quote, an important investment for the community.
Yes, we might have to demolish if that's what ends up happening, but I think we would probably put out, in this particular case, we would put out a full RFP and get requests for proposals and see what people wanted. Some might want to put in apartments, some might want to put in I'd love another IT or software company to move in. You know, there's all kinds of things, maybe even another hotel. I mean, there's all kinds of options.
The sale paves the way for the YMCA's next step in its new facility project, plans which were announced last year.
The sale was approved by a 4-1 vote, with Commissioner Isaac Miller voting against. The new YMCA likely won't be complete for a couple more years. Until then, they're planning to continue operating in the current building through a lease agreement with the city.
A skate park is expected to roll into Muncie next year. Tara Konieczny learned about the inspiration behind the plan that has been in the work for 5 years.
After an idea popped in the mind of one community member in 2017, now Muncie finally got approved for that, a skate park.
Children who want to go out, skateboard, BMX, and they don't have a place.
The skate park will be located in Westside Park in Muncie and will connect to the trail system. It is set to be over 15,000 square feet.
People that are using that pedestrian trail really enjoy just like kind of being part of it by sitting and watching and taking a little break
There is currently a code in Muncie that prohibits skateboarding on public property in the city. This project will give people a place to go.
If your city does not have a skate park, your city is a skate park.
Mayor Dan Ridenour supported this project and said, quote, "A skate park could provide a fun outdoor activity for youth that is currently not available in Muncie," unquote.
Wide variety of users for the park, and that is expanding year to year. We're seeing a lot more different users, a lot more inclusive, like to genders and also to just riders in general.
Hunger Skate Parks from Bloomington, Indiana was hired to design and complete the project. Not only are they making this a space for skateboards, bikes, and scooters, but also disability compatibility for wheelchairs.
Don't have a lot of wheelchair riders in Indiana, but we're so excited to see that, that there's interest in including them, and hopefully there will be more here.
In Muncie, Tara Konechny, NewsLink, Indiana.
Has received some funding through city grants, but they are still looking for more support. You can find links to donate on ballstatedaily.com.
Riverview Park is about to undergo some renovations. It's part of a 5-year plan to upgrade 4 parks across Muncie. Cooley Park and Holtman Park have already been upgraded. Each park will include an upgraded playground and a splash pad, but other renovations can be requested by the community. So far, things like a walking trail, basketball courts, and changing rooms have been added to other parks. Carl Malone, superintendent of Muncie's Parks Department, said upgrading Riverview Park will make a difference for the surrounding community.
So we think being able to serve that particular population for that particular park is really going to speak volume, because you're going to see these young kids at that park on a regular throughout those good months that we can provide outdoor summer recreation.
Renovations for Riverview Park are set to be finished next year, and then the Parks Department will start on Thomas Park in 2024.
Mortgage rates are the highest they've been since 2008. They've been climbing for more than a month now, hitting 6.29% according to Freddie Mac, while last year at this time it was 2.88%. Recession fears have been making rates unstable in the face of yet another rate hike from the Federal Reserve in its ongoing fight against inflation. Because of the higher rates, home prices have started to soften and sales have decreased, but there is still a shortage of homes for sale. And now into weather. When I was leaving my home this morning, it was quite chilly. I definitely had to layer up a little.
Absolutely. I threw on a couple of jackets as I walked into UML.
Yes, Tegan and Olivia, yes, you're correct. It's a huge ton of events occurring to where we were back on Wednesday, where we're seeing nearly record high temperatures. Now we're seeing temperatures that are more common for late October into early November. As you see here, 43 degrees in Muncie, 47 degrees in Indianapolis, and Bloomington is at 46 degrees at this hour. It's a big difference from where we were at this time yesterday, where we were seeing 60s in most Indiana viewing areas. But we're 15 degrees colder in Muncie, 19 in Shelbyville. So a huge difference from where we were at this time yesterday. Going into this day, we're not going to warm up much, guys. Don't expect any really warm temperatures here. 66 degrees. It's going to be pretty much a high temperature. And we're going to cool right back down, just like we did last night here. And the radar here is showing us clear right now. We might have some clouds coming into the area later on, but for the most part, we shouldn't have to worry about any moisture. Have all that coming up in my full forecast coming up. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Ryan. Just ahead, see how people here in Muncie and in Puerto Rico have been affected by Hurricane Fiona.
That's after your weather now. Welcome back. The current time is 8:10, and I must say it is starting to warm up just a little bit, though I still think a jacket is necessary.
Yeah, it's also been getting pretty hectic over in the national weather side. Ryan is here with us to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, it's pretty much right now, but right now I want to show you right now that we're going to be seeing, you see Hurricane Fiona out here. This is pretty much it's out here in the land. It's going to be pretty much affecting the northeast as we go throughout the tomorrow and as we go into Sunday. And you have to keep that in mind for the northeast. Even parts of Canada is going to see some of this as well. And it's rare to see hurricanes in Canada. And you also see there's a tropical depression 9 down here. This is also going to be affecting us as we go, not affecting us, but it's going to be affecting parts of Cuba and also Florida later on next week. So Florida's going to have to keep that in mind as we go throughout the like early part of next week. You see these temperatures here, they're pretty chilly. We're actually the cool spot on the map. 43 degrees in Muncie, 58 in Kansas City, 74 in Dallas, and 67 in Las Vegas. Their high temperatures today, they're going to be pretty toasty in Dallas. Look, 97 degrees up there, down there in Dallas, and 93 degrees in Las Vegas. But for the most part of the Northeast, we're going to be sitting below average as we go through pretty much the majority of the week, as you will see here. And because of that, the cold front that came through the Midwest a couple days ago, you're going to see that we have some freeze and frost advisories pretty much throughout Wisconsin, parts of Wisconsin, and also in parts of Michigan. They're going to be seeing some freeze and frost advisories. You're also going to be seeing some gale warnings. That's pretty much that's going to be coming right off the shore of like New York, because that's basically based on Hurricane Fiona. And then we also have some high wind watches in parts of Montana, pardon me. And then we also see that, well, there was some flood watches up here in Phoenix, but we're not seeing too much of a threat for that right now. And the temperatures right now are going to be, again, for tomorrow, pretty toasty in the south, but also not too bad for the September, but off here in the northeast, and we're going to be seeing well below average temperatures. So yes, not particularly warm in the northeast, but warm out there in the west.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I definitely was ready. I knew the temperatures were dropping, but I didn't know it was going to get this cold, especially not the ice. I'm not ready for that.
No, especially since it's warming up. I'm so confused. Walking around campus, do I wear a jacket? Do I wear a t-shirt?
I know,
What's the game plan here?
I think layers are going to be our best friend for the next few days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know, I went with shorts last week. All week I was with shorts, and then this week, yesterday, when coming in, I was like, hey, I was with shorts and a shirt, and then out of nowhere, it started getting cold. I left the UML lab really late, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, recently, it seems like some days are cool and fall weather has finally started, but other days it heats back up like we're back in summer. This morning, we're breaking down the science of when fall really begins.
The first thing to think about is, when does fall actually begin? There are two different answers.
According to a meteorological calendar, fall begins on September 1st, even if it hasn't been cool enough yet this month to feel like we're really in fall.
But based on an astronomical calendar, fall started yesterday on September 22nd, the fall equinox. Equinoxes happen twice a year, once in spring and once in fall, when everywhere on Earth gets a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night. After the fall equinox, our days start to get shorter because it gets darker sooner, temperatures cool down at night. That's when we get those cool fall mornings.
But early on in the fall season, we still get enough direct sunlight that it can seem warm during the day. That's why during fall, temperatures can change between warm and cool very quickly. Meteorologists call that seasonal temperature lag.
But for all of the fall lovers who are waiting to bust out their sweaters, you won't have to wait too much longer. As the Earth continues its rotation and we here in the Northern Hemisphere get less direct sunlight, temperatures will keep dropping. And that means changing leaves, cool fall mornings, and pumpkin spice lattes. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have been looking forward to all the coffee shops bringing back their pumpkin spice flavors.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've never actually tried pumpkin, but I think this might be the year that I actually get into it.
I definitely think you should do that.
More than 1 million people in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic have lost access to power or running water after the region was struck by Hurricane Fiona. Several people have been killed and hundreds are in shelters. Hurricane Fiona was the first major hurricane of this year's Atlantic season and made landfall in Puerto Rico Sunday, dumping up to 30 inches of rain in some areas of the territory. Fiona triggered landslides and flooded homes and streets. Since making landfall, the storm has only intensified, growing into a Category 4 hurricane Wednesday. Earlier this morning, the storm hit Bermuda with winds up to 125 miles per hour, and now it's on its way to Canada. Officials in Puerto Rico say the island hasn't seen such extensive damage since Hurricane Maria made landfall 5 years ago.
No, yeah, and I was able to speak with some people here in Muncie with families there and in Puerto Rico to see how they have been affected and what they are doing to recover from all of this or help others while being there.
Hurricane Fiona has impacted my family in Puerto Rico quite a bit. Due to the hurricane, electricity has been cut down as well as water and other utilities. Because of this, communication is very difficult. Of course, no internet means no intercommunication and such. It has become very difficult to call one another or just keep up with one another with everyday basics. It has been very hard on everybody.
Like water, electricity, communication, even food. It's hard to be far knowing that they are lacking their basic needs and we are not there to help.
This hurricane is expected to have a longer recovery than any other ones, but residents from Puerto Rico aren't giving up. As the storm hit Puerto Rico on Sunday, it made its landfall in Dominican Republic on Monday, and it has hit Bermuda late last night, time being close to midnight. This storm is not done yet and is still expecting to hit Cuba, Jamaica, and Florida by Wednesday next week. Residents are expecting a recovery for these islands as fast as possible.
As many of you know, a hurricane just hit Puerto Rico a few days ago. The island has suffered major damages, not only to its infrastructure, but also to the power and also the water. Many of people who live here are without power, without water since I think Saturday, me included. There have been a lot of damages in all parts of the island, but most of the damages have been done in the south. Communities are basically coming together in order to help their friends in need, their families, people they don't know. Basically, they have lost everything. So thank you so much for the people that are interested and the people who actually want to know what's going on here. And I just really would love it if you guys could donate or just ask people what they need. If it's food, if it's water, just anything would literally help. So thank you so much. And
President Joe Biden has officially approved a disaster declaration for the U.S. territory. If you're interested in helping out, there are many sites available on social media to give what you can to support these places.
In just a moment, we'll have the latest in sports and your local weather.
That's after a message with Mix.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
Welcome back. The current time is 8:19 and you're taking a live look outside the Foundational Science Building.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting to get a little sunnier, so maybe it'll warm up. What are you saying, Ryan?
Well, yes, this is supposed to warm up, but not very much. You're going to see those temperatures pretty much be below average as you go throughout the week and to the weekend as well. Even though the weekend will warm up, you see that a little bit more on my 7-day forecast. But yeah, we're going to be below average. But for the most part, we're going to be in the 60s next week. And we do have a disturbance coming in on Sunday, so we have to keep that in mind as well. Take a look at Wednesday. Wednesday was 93 degrees. 93! Yesterday, we barely scratched the surface of 70 degrees. Even with all that sunshine we had yesterday, those winds coming out of the north really kept those temperatures down. And reflected that over here this morning, the overnight low. 43 degrees is our temperature right now in Muncie, 43 in Shelbyville, and 47 in Indianapolis. Well below average for this time of the year. And because of that, look at where we were from at this time yesterday. We are 10 to 15 degrees colder than we were at this time. yesterday. Much chilly and uncommon for this time of the year. We're also looking at this for today. We only go warmer to 66 degrees. Those clouds will increase as we go throughout the day, even though we do have some sun out there this morning. The radar right now, look, not too bad out here in the Muncie area, but we do have some showers out here in parts of Kansas and Missouri, even in parts of Nebraska as well. So we have to keep that in mind going throughout the day. That's not going to bother us, but Sunday they could possibly get coming to our area. For tonight, we're going to see mostly cloudy skies, a low of 54 degrees, a little bit warmer than we were at this time yesterday. With southeast winds at 5 miles an hour. As you took a look at this weekend, we do moderate a little bit, 73 degrees on Saturday, but we do have the disturbance on Sunday, 73 degrees as well. But we do have a little bit of a change. Was that cold front comes back into the area and drops those temperatures right back down. And speaking of rain, that's the only day we have rain. Other than that, we're going to be dry, and you're going to see that because of that, those temperatures are actually going to have an impact as well. You see these next 6 to 10 days, you're going to see that we're going to be well below average in parts of the Northeast and also in our area as well. But if you want to go somewhere warm, you got to go out to the west. You've seen that a little bit earlier in our national forecast. As you go through the 7-day forecast, you're going to see that every single day below average. Even though we're going to see 70s on Saturday and Sunday, even parts of Monday, and disregard that 30%. But yes, even though we see that it's going to be 70, it's still going to be below average for this time of the year. Because our average high should be around like 76, 77 degrees, and we're not going to quite see that, not for a while here. So, 60s are more common for October, the middle of October, end of October, not so much the end of September. We should be seeing temperatures in the 80s and all that right now, but
Yeah, thanks. I'm definitely glad the rain's starting to hold off. I'm ready to get out my fall boots, but not my rain boots.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. With almost a week left until sectionals, Yorktown boys tennis look to accomplish history. Newslink Indiana's Zach Greer caught up with the senior duo at the front of it all.
Turns on 3, 1, 2, 3, Tigers!
Located on the southwest side of Delaware County lies the doubles team with a dream. Seniors Ethan Darby and Rafael Savion are the one doubles team of boys tennis at Yorktown High School. The two have played with one another for the last 3 years and are 15-1 through their first 16 matches of the season. Whether it's chemistry or luck, these two Tigers have been predators on the court.
Well, I mean, it's been great because lots of times, especially this year, I've fallen short. I've had a lot of shortcomings due to maybe injuries, faults of my own, and he usually makes up for that. So it's nice to have him as a partner.
Our personality traits on the court are nearly opposite, and so it's just he kind of balances me out a little bit. It's really great, and I feel like our skills on the court really also balance each other out, and so I've been able to do so well this season so far.
Led by Ethan and Raph, Yorktown is looking to flip the script and dominate in the postseason. There's just one problem, and it's that the team that stands in their way also resides in Delaware County. It's head coach Bob Darby's alma mater and the team that has won sectionals every year since 1993, the Eagles of Delta High School.
From a standpoint of boys tennis, losing to Delta 27 years in a row, and we can't get out of sectionals.
But things are looking up for the boys in green and white.
Raph and I have been doing pretty good, getting that point for our team, and so have the other guys. But when we go up against Delta and Greenfield Central, schools like those, I'd really love to see the rest of our doubles lineup and our singles really do well in those too.
I think that if we go into it believing that we can win as a team, I think it can happen. I think it can definitely happen.
Things have changed since 1993, but will the sectional champion for boys tennis? Only time will tell to see if Yorktown could be the survivor in sectionals and have the eye of the Tiger. In Yorktown, Zach Greer, Newslink, Indiana.
Those scores were pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Truly excited for those boys. Accomplishing something like that, it's always so exciting.
Yeah, it definitely takes me back to my tennis days.
Oh, you played tennis?
Just a little bit. My mom signed me up for classes, and that was about it.
That's awesome. I was more of a softball kind of gal. I was always on first base.
Okay, yeah. But now I guess we're going into a break in just a moment. We'll see how a herd of goats who offer a helping hand.
And that's after your weather.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
A herd of goats just finished up their summer job over in Chicago.
The team of goats help out at O'Hare International Airport. Check out this video of them frolicking in the airport fields. The herd spends the summer season chowing down on overgrown airport vegetation. This is the 9th year the goats and other animals have helped clear the fields. It's part of an eco-friendly program to help the airfields keep the airfield safe and maintained. Now the goats are headed to warmer areas as the fall weather approaches.
And it's been almost a year since Betty White passed away at the age of 99, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and love.
She also left behind many personal items that are now up for sale. The property from the life and career of Betty White auction begins today and will run through the weekend. It includes things like jewelry, a personalized Donnie and Marie binder, and a presidential star she received from Richard Nixon, scripts and other memorabilia. More than 1,500 items will be sold at the auction.
A blind boy uses his hands to see a firefighter, and the Space Force reveals its official song, For Better or Worse. An up-close and personal interaction between a Florida firefighter and a fascinated new friend is pretty much the sweetest thing you've seen all week. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
An amazing and heartwarming video of a blind child's first interaction with a firefighter is going viral for all the best reasons. The video was posted of a meet and greet with homeschooled students with Plant City Fire Department officials in Florida. The little boy, Junie, is blind and used his hands to see, thoroughly exploring the firefighter's gear to paint a visual picture. Social media users had all the feels gushing about the interaction between the firefighter and his newfound friend. The boy's mom later thanked the department and said Junie hasn't stopped pretending to be a firefighter since. Speaking of firsts, Space Force, the newest and 6th official branch of the U.S. military, has just revealed its official theme song, and spoiler alert, it's not exactly a banger. It's pretty good. Kind of a Captain America, John Philip Sousa type vibe. When asked for official reaction on the song, titled Semper Supra, a high-ranking Air Force official said, quote, "I'm sure it will grow on us." So, I guess this means they won't be using the song I wrote. Space Force, we're a force that goes out in space. Space Force, we're a force that is in your face. Space Force, boldly go where nobody's gone. Space Force, we should totally use Jeremy's song. Huh? Fine, use theirs. Or take a look at this. I'm Jeremy Roth.
And now for a final look at weather, here's Ryan. What do you have for us?
Well, below average temperatures. That's what I have for you all. It's not much that's going to be considered here, except we're going to be below average pretty much every single day next week. And we do have a rain chance on Sunday, but other than that, we're not going to see really any 80s or even 90s back into the forecast.
That's all for Cardinal weather this Friday morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.